Welcome back, Oklahoma. A government shutdown averted at the 11th hour and a 45-day stopgap funding measure signed just before the midnight deadline on Saturday. So this morning we're talking live with Oklahoma's senior U.S. Senator James Lankford on avoiding this shutdown. Senator Lankford, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning to you.
All right, Senator, what are your thoughts on this latest deal to avoid a government shutdown?
We have a lot of work to get done in the next 7 weeks is my proposal on it. We've got a lot that's sitting on the table, both dealing with the 12 appropriation bills. That's still not one of those has gone across the Senate floor. A few of them have passed the House, but none of them have passed the Senate yet. We've got a lot to talk about immigration, a lot to talk about Ukraine funding, obviously, and then the long-term fiscal realities of the country. This was a convergence of a lot of issues where we're dealing with national security, economic security, and foreign policy all together at one time. And so it makes for a convoluted mess at times. But we've got 7 weeks to be able to work out the rest of this deal and to be able to get it done. And we need to get busy doing it.
Yeah, 7 weeks here. This will keep the government funded through mid-November. And it includes, like you had talked about, also some disaster relief alongside regular government funding. But like you said, the government faces another possible shutdown on November 17th. And you introduced the Prevent Government Shutdown Act. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, I'd like to see us end the whole concept of government shutdowns entirely. People think this has happened in the entire history of the country. It hasn't. Actually, the first of the shutdowns ever started in the 1980s. I'm going to take a little history. After the 1974 Budget Act, they changed the process of how we do budgeting. That process has only worked 4 times as it was written since 1974. And since the 1980s, we've had these repetitive shutdowns over and over again. So we can get rid of those and to say we're not going to have those at all. I have a very simple proposal that's a bipartisan proposal of quite a few Democrats and Republicans, which is what it requires to be able to actually get it to be able to be law. And that is that the government stays open if we pass a deadline, but members of Congress and our staff can't travel. We're in session 7 days a week, and we can't do anything other than appropriations. So it's basically the equivalent of what my mom used to do to my brother and I. If we have an argument, she'd lock the 2 of us in our room and say, you guys work this out. And when you're done, you can come out of your room. It's basically putting the 2 of us back into our room and to say, keep working this out, stay at it until it's done. But the American people and federal workers, everybody else is held harmless while we try to solve some very serious issues that do remain.
And Senator, you said that this has support on both sides of the aisle, right?
It does. It does. It has support on both sides of the aisle. I started this with Maggie Hassan, who's a Democrat from New Hampshire. I said, we've got to be able to resolve this. Whatever passes the Senate has to have 60 votes. So it can't be just one party. So I actually began it with both parties working together. And we continue to be able to work through this process. It has overwhelming support on the Republican side. We've got probably 10 to 15 on the Democrat side already that have stepped up. But more and more after this last whole battle that came through of people saying, it's time to just end this. We need to actually have the arguments that need to be done. We do need to talk about debt. We do need to talk about the border. We do need to talk about who we are and where we're going economically, but we don't need to have the federal whole country affected by this and all those federal workers affected by this as well.
Yeah, you said on social media following the Senate clearing that stopgap bill that this is not how the United States of America should govern. Can you speak to the impact that this has on all Oklahoma families?
You know, it's interesting when I talk about the United States of America, we get used to it as Americans, but we forget that the rest of the world watches our proceedings every week. They're tracking what's going on. They're tracking who we are. Many things happen internationally because the Americans went first on it. And when we're going through rolling shutdowns, it actually doesn't just build insecurity here. It builds insecurity globally, and it allows the Chinese to be able to stand up and say a communist system is so much better, so much more reliable, and encouraging other governments worldwide to be autocratic. We want to maintain our republic and continue to be able to show people around the world that this is the right way to be able to govern. Let every voice be heard. That is a messy process, but we should be able to have the argument without having a government shutdown at the same time.
So, Senator, can you walk me through what the next steps are here and also what can Oklahomans do to help?
So, again, keep the conversation going. We have 332 million Americans. We have 4 million Oklahomans. As we talk about all the different issues, we are actually building on that. It is still we the people, and we forget that a lot. It is our conversation about how do we solve problems? How do we work across the aisle? There's a perspective at times that just Republicans or just Democrats are going to actually push this through. That's not possible in the Senate, where you have to have 60 people to be able to move it through. So the Senate is the one place where both sides have to agree and be able to work it out. but we've got to get solutions to immigration. We've got to solve the asylum abuse and what's actually happening with 6 million people illegally crossing the border. We've got to determine what we're going to do in foreign policy, and we've got to get a plan to be able to get out of $33 trillion in debt. That's what Americans expect us to do. That's what Oklahomans expect us to do. That's a noisy process, but Oklahomans should stay tuned in. How are we going to solve our debt? How are we going to solve our border and national security issues? And where are we going to stand in the rest of the world in leadership?
All right, my last question here, Senator. Do you foresee a funding bill passing before that November 17th deadline?
I don't. I don't. I anticipate it's going to go right up to the edge again, and we'll be there around Thanksgiving. We'll have a lot to be thankful for, right? But I think it's going to drive all the way to the end there. I don't anticipate it's going to be early, but there are major pieces that should be in there that are in process that need to actually get done.
Senator, thank you as always for coming on and talking to our viewers. I know Oklahomans, they want to hear this from you. Again, thank you. And we have some more information coming up at our 4 p.m. newscast here on KOCO 5 News. We want to get over to meteorologist Jonathan Connor with a check of our forecast.